Okay, so we're going to take a break from the Blue Pyramid Club. We're going to open up with Irene as she leaves the Blue Pyramid Club on the while everyone else had gained access. Let's jump over to Barney real quick. Barney, you were off taking care of family business. What is it that you think that you would be doing this evening after you were done taking care of your personal things? Would you try to catch up with the others? Try to join Irene? Was there some other odd event that you wanted to try and take up personally? And don't forget you can pull up your quests on your sidebar and see what kind of quests we have and your group sheet. If you go to the order tab on that, then you will see various different pins for the active quest that I will assign you guys to. So we have Blue Pyramid Club. I want to move Alonzo over to that. Kansas is over there. And Charles is over there. Okay. Then they would have definitely have left word with you. You were probably even there whenever they're discussing what they were going to go do, but then a personal matter came up that you had to take care of real quick before you could join them. We're going to backtrack just a little bit, and we're going to say that you come across Irene leaving the facility at the same time that you are getting there. And so you can kind of join up with Irene now, and the two of you can converse in character. The Blue Pyramid Club. And so if you were leaving to go join the others, she is leaving. She is actually leaving the Blue Pyramid Club as you are heading there. And you spot her out on the street. As you guys chat with each other in character, I'm going to grab my hard copy of the book here real quick. This would be a good opportunity here for Irene to kind of fill in Barney with what transpired during the last events when he was gone. And so the lead that he mentions is Zathrashfik, the spice dealer. And so the investigator, the detective that you guys went and talked to, he was the one who mentioned the spice dealer. Let's see if I can pull up a map for you guys here. Let's see, we got London. So you guys are in Soho right now, which is a suburb, segment, district, however you wish to categorize it, of the London metro area. And you should all have this London map in your library of images. And as far as the spice shop, it is just about a block over from the Blue Pyramid Club. It is not very far away at all. So that's why Irene had decided to head over there whenever she decided that she didn't want to mess with going into the Blue Pyramid.
I don't know if it was didn't want to mess with. Pretty sure she got rejected.
I was trying to be nice about it.
I don't get a lot of wins. Not in the looks department.
So just a quick, who has the notes concerning Miss Shafiq, the spice dealer? Which of you guys was a good note taker whenever the investigator was talking to you? Now, this is a moment to remember. Barney and Irene actually doing something together. Okay. Give me a never mind. I'll just go ahead and give it to you. I'm trying to promote note taking and self reliance in this mission, but since it has been quite a while since we've played, we've had a pretty significant break, I'll just kind of come out and just give you the information all over again. So, um, Inspector Barrington had interviewed a number of people with connections to Egypt. The vast majority had little to offer, although a spice dealer named Zahra Shafiq interested him. Shafiq had worked with the Pinhue Foundation in the past. She recognized the name, but also denied that the Brotherhood of the Black Pharaoh still existed. Something about her gave Barrington the impression there was something that she was not saying. He had tailed her for a few days, which confirmed that she went to the Blue Pyramid Club, but that was it. There was not anything else that he could find out about her. She seemed clean otherwise. The time of the night. Well, let's take a look at the old calendar here. And since we kind of backtracked a little bit, for everyone else, for all the guys in the Blue Pyramid Club, several hours has passed, or at least a couple. But for everyone else, we're going to say it's roughly about 9 p.m. That would be for Irene and for Barney from your perspective. Doing some quick research, you can easily find out that the spice shop, Empire Spices, is a two-story building at 76 Wardour Street in Soho. It seems to be a standard run-of-the-mill little spice shop that caters to a variety of clientele. Of course, at this time of night, the shop is closed.
What was the name of the spice shop again?
Empire Spices. I guess you'll have to find out. It does seem like a spice shop whenever you view it from the outside. It is a bona fide business. Are you just heading straight over to the shop, or do you just want me to pick up with your arrival at the shop, or was there anything that you were going to do en route? I'll make a minor change to the quest notes here. And just note that investigating Zahra Shafiq / Empire Spices. There we go. It is a multi-level shop, and most likely, based on the era and the nature of shops and things like that, it probably does have a living area above it. You would be highly doubtful that a spice shop would actually have multiple levels for the business itself. So there's a sign on the shop that states that it is open from 9 a.m. to 5 p.m. Monday through Saturday. Yes, initially there are some lights on. Barney, what is your demeanor or your intentions as you investigate the shop? Are you being stealthy? Are you just waiting to observe? Are you walking right up to the shop and looking in the windows? Just kind of give me a general idea of your approach. And same thing with Irene. Just kind of give me a general brief statement on your primary approach that you're taking as you investigate the shop. Okay, Irene, since you're just trying to blend in, not necessarily trying to hide or anything like that, give me an acting roll. Okay. Irene is, there are still some people on the street. Of course, not anything like it would be during the day, but there's still some pedestrians, some comers and goers who are going to various different places in the neighborhood, whether they be nightclubs or their houses or whatever else. And you kind of just make yourself look rather inconspicuous. Okay, Barney, since you're kind of hiding out in a shadowed alcove and just kind of trying to remain kind of out of sight, then give me a stealth roll with a bonus. All right, Barney, are you satisfied with that roll? Or do you wish to make any modifications to it? Now keep in mind, failure does not necessarily mean anything. It could mean that you're spotted. It could mean absolutely nothing nothing at all. So um, I'm just having you make a roll for your general approach and let you um, guess as to whether or not it was important or not. Not in this instance. It's not really a super stressful situation or anything like that. Like I said, I was just wanting to know how successful you were at your particular approach that you were taking. Yeah, generally they are tick worthy, but this time we were just looking for your kind of a baseline to go off of. Okay, so the two of you approach the building. Irene is just kind of wandering around, just making herself look a little inconspicuous. Barney is kind of hiding out in the shadows and some alcoves and perhaps maybe smoking on a pipe or whatever it is that he's doing to pass the time, twirling his cane. And he just kind of stands there watching and trying to look as inconspicuous as possible as he observes the building. As I stated before, the shop is closed. You can clearly see the sign on the front door. Oh, I guess I should kind of give you the basic description here. The only entrance to the shop appears to be via the front door, although there does appear to be a locked wooden gate heading down a gap in between the shop and the building next to it. You don't know whether or not it might lead someplace else or not. You can't see past the gate, and it's a very dark, narrow, like about a one single body wide, kind of gap in between the buildings. There, all the doors appear to be, relatively stout, standard business shop type doors. The shop is closed. There's no lights on in the lower section of the building. However, there are some lights on in the upper section, leading you to believe that it is probably occupied. You can kind of see some movement, some shadows kind of moving around across the curtains as whatever light is inside the upper floor casts a shadow on the curtained window from the occupant as they move around. And then you see light flick on in the lower section of the shop, and the lights turn off in the upper section. Give me a perception check, and we'll see if you can guess or see if you can determine perhaps maybe how many people. Okay, Irene's not really quite sure, based on the casting of the shadows and everything else, how many people may be up there. Perhaps maybe 1, 2. Kind of hard for her to tell. Barney, as he's watching, he kind of gets the feeling that it's a single person who's casting the shadows. Kind of the shadow kind of has the same type of appearance to it. You know, if as much of an appearance as a shadow can have. Anyway, the lights in the upper portion of the shop turn off. The lights turn on in the bottom, or a light turns off in the bottom section of the shop, and then it goes off again. Just after the light goes off, the front door opens, and a figure steps out of the door and out onto the street. Irene doesn't really have a very good angle on the person, and can't really tell very much except for that they're wearing a coat and a hat. It's too shadowed, and she doesn't really have a good line of sight. Barney, on the other hand, in his spot that he's, kind of perched himself into, he can get a fairly good look at the person. Looks to be as if they're dressed like a female. Can't see any kind of facial details or anything like that, but definitely wearing something, female type of attire. And with a regular success, I'm going to say that's about it. Okay, she stops for a moment after exiting the door, turns, appears to be locking the place up, and then leaves and starts walking down the street. Let's see. Give me a. Do you have any kind of navigation type skills? Let's take a look here. It's not really a straight line to get to the Blue Pyramid, though. I mean, you could take a couple different routes to get there. So in lieu of a navigation type roll, you could just give me a straight up intellect roll, an idea roll, to see whether or not you think she's heading in that general direction. Okay. Irene has a feeling that she is heading in the direction of the Blue Pyramid Club. Not necessarily a beeline or anything like that, but it is in the same direction. Barney, for his regular success on his navigate, he determines that, if she walks down the street where she's going and she, turns the corner, at a certain point and everything else, then, that'll take her up to the Blue Pyramid Club. You can try to tail her if you want to see if she's going to the Blue Pyramid, or you could just make the assumption that she is and go about your business. Okay, Barney, you tail her a little bit, and as she gets down to the end of the street, she turns in the direction like she's going to go down and around the block to where the Blue Pyramid Club is at. Irene, while you see Barney kind of head off to kind of tail her a little bit, he's keeping his distance, not anything that's going to give himself away, but he's just checking to make sure that she's turning down the street that heads towards the Blue Pyramid. And are you going to go ahead and approach the spice shop while he's off doing that, or are you going to wait to see if he comes back? Alright, so you go ahead and head up to the shop. Barney, you see that she makes the corner and is heading down the street to the Blue Pyramid. And as you're approaching back to the spice shop, you can see Irene up at the front of the shop where she has already approached the building and is checking the place out. All the lights are out on the shop now, that is correct. And the streets are relatively clear. There's not a bunch of street lights or anything like that. There's some, kind of spaced out a bit. There are still some pedestrians on the street. Not very many, but every few minutes, someone will come walking by. Alright, go ahead and give me a lockpicking roll. And this one will be check worthy if you do it. As Barney approaches, he can hear Irene kind of muttering and cursing under her breath a little bit as it appears that she's trying to pick the lock of the shop. Not very successfully, mind you. I will let you. This attempt holds true for this particular lock. You can't re-roll it per se without a push, but I will let you go try the gate, and then you can come back, and that would be part of your push, was that you're spending extra time, you're doing something. Poisoning the lock. Yes, go ahead and roll. Irene tries to fiddle with the lock on the gate going down the side of the building. Now the gate is traversable. You can probably hop over the gate. It's, of course, you don't know what's on the other side of it, but you could hop over it with a boost. It's probably about 6 feet tall or so. It probably is. So, are you going to try to scale the gate? And is Barney going to boost you? All right. Barney is a plenty strong enough fellow to lift a little lady like Irene, so I'm not going to call for an assistance roll from him, but I will call for an athletics roll from you. But you get a bonus die due to the assistance that you get from Barney. And when I say athletics, I'm talking about like climbing or, some sort of a fitting skill. Yeah. Whenever I refer to a skill, oftentimes I'll just use a generic name for it. And anything that fits within that scope, you guys can. Okay. Irene attempts to climb over the fence, and with Barney's help, and she does get over it, but not very gracefully. She kind of slips a little bit, and she loses a shoe in the process. And Barney did roll pretty high on his spot hidden, and you do kind of snag your dress on the edge of the fence, a nail or maybe a rough edge of the wood. It kind of snags your dress a little bit and rips. And Barney also spots your gun hidden up underneath your dress. On your thigh holster. All right, so Irene is on the other side, minus a few scuffs and bumps and some ripped clothing and a lost shoe and all the other stuff. But she did manage to get over rather ungracefully. And since we're in on this now, and you have committed yourselves, do you have a flashlight out, Irene? Because it is very dark in this gap. Whenever you drop in here, I mean, it's very dark. The buildings are blocking all of the ambient light, and the gate is closed, and so it's nearly pitch black in this alley. Give me a listen check. You hear the sound of your breath, and as you're kind of panting a little bit from your ungraceful climb, and you're kind of a little bit sore from where you scraped yourself coming over, and you're just a little bit distracted. And you think that you hear a little bit of a rattle down the alley behind you, but you're not really quite sure. It could just be, an echo. The sounds, it could just be coming from the street. It could be something that Barney did on the other side, and it's just kind of echoing down the alley in a kind of an audible you don't really hear any kind of a barking or uh, anything imminently dangerous. Like I said, just kind of a little bit of a rattling sound. can't move your mini. I'm not sure why. Maybe it's because we're in initiative. Let me exit initiative. Okay, try now. See if you can move your mini around now. Oh, I know why you can't, because I put it on the GM layer. That would be most helpful if I put it on the right layer. There we go. And there we go. I'm going to adjust the scale of the tokens too. Okay, now you guys should be able to move them around. Okay, Irene fumbles a little bit with the latch on the gate in the darkness, but she eventually manages to get it open after making a fair amount of noise fumbling around with it. The gate swings open with a creak. And Barney is standing there face to face with Irene. She's a little disheveled. Are you going to close the gate behind you, Barney, or are you going to leave it open? Okay, Barney closes the gate, and again, the gate creaks and squeaks on the hinges, and then it clicks as the latch closes. Yes, it can be opened relatively easily. Irene had to fumble around with it a little bit because it was so dark back here she couldn't really see it, so she had to feel around for it and fumble around for the latch. If you have a light, then you'd just be able to open it right away. It wasn't hard enough where it needed any kind of a skill roll or anything like that. Now, if you're trying to do it in the dark and really fast because maybe something's chasing you, then that might need a skill roll. Okay, so the night vision would help you out. It would remove any kind of penalty dice that you might have for darkness. It doesn't necessarily let you see in the dark like you have dark vision like a dwarf or anything like that. But uh, in general, when it's dark, you take penalty dice on skill checks, and so that just lets you negate the penalty die. Okay, so Irene moves on down the alley. Are you pulling out any kind of lights at this point, or are you still moving along in the dark? It's not pitch black, but it is very, very dark. Like I said, because of the closeness of the buildings, you're not getting any kind of moonlight, skylight, ambient light coming from the street, anything like that. It is very, very dark. We're talking like 2 penalty dice worth of dark. Yeah, you get a general shadowy outline of stuff. I mean, this alley is so narrow, you can basically just stretch your hands out to your sides. You can't even fully extend your arms. It's so narrow. So you're kind of squeezing, down this little walkway. Your eyes are very slowly adjusting to it. You can kind of make out some shadows in front of you. In time enough not to run into it, as there's a little bit of a bulge in the wall that you have to kind of squeeze through. I mean, you actually have to kind of turn sideways and kind of shimmy, through the little gap in between the buildings, where you figure probably a chimney or something of that nature has created a outcropping, out from the side of the building. As you do, you can kind of hear a rattle, a little bit of a skittering down the alley, but it's too dark to really see anything. The distance and the location is unknown of what you hear. General sense would tell you that it's probably nothing more than rats in the alley. Barney pulls out his light and covering it and just letting kind of a little bit of a sliver of light come through his fingers. And he illuminates the alley just ever so slightly, so you can at least walk down it without tripping over anything or running into any kind of hazards. And you guys make your way down the alley, slowly but surely. You come to another outcropping that you have to squeeze through, and you keep making your way down the alley. I think both Kansas and Charles gave you their guns. Now, you wouldn't necessarily be carrying all of them. You probably left them back in the back at Barney's place. So you can decide. It would be a little bit much to be carrying around 2 pistols in your purse, but you could definitely be carrying around one of them. Yeah, she has her hidden, but not quite so secret, currently hidden gun. Now, there would have only been the one magazine that was in the pistol. I know it's going to be different, so I'm going to copy the 45 from Charles's sheet over to yours. Oh, actually it is the same. 45 revolver, 45 automatic is 1d10 plus 2, 15 yards, 1. Yeah, so the only thing that's different is the amount of shots. The automatic has 7 shots and the revolver has 6 shots. So for right now, you can just use your revolver stats, and that'll be sufficient enough. It's better than copying the pistol over to your inventory. Okay, anyway, you guys make your way down the alley, and Barney's light shines on some rats in the alley as they're scurrying away, and you see a bottle laying in the alley, which was clearly making the clanking, rattling kind of sound that you heard as the rats scurry off into little holes to hide from you as you come down the alleyway. As you keep making your way down, you eventually come to another gate, or a doorway, I should say. Actually, this would be more of a gate. There's kind of like a bricked wall with a gate in it, and again, you could probably boost yourself up over this brick wall. It's a little bit higher than the gate that's out at the street. You try it, and it does appear to be locked. It's going to be 2 penalties. Well, actually, no, you have your light from Barney now. So if he shines the light on the lock, then that will negate your penalty dice. Irene slips it in, gives a little jimmy, and click. It opens up. Let me reveal the area for you here. Okay. So the gate opens up, and as I said, this was like a brick wall, about a 7 foot tall brick wall with a gate that was securing it. And this looks like a outer backyard kind of an area. It's kind of in disrepair. There's some junk laying around and uh, nothing really of interest. Although you do see two windows and a door on the back side of the building, and you see something across the yard, kind of like a little shed looking kind of a building with a door on it. Okay, at this point, since he's holding the pistol in his hand and the flashlight in his other hand, he's not going to be able uh, to filter the light coming through it. So it's going to be a full beam of light at this point, if that is what Barney wishes to do. You are outside, although you're in like a fenced, walled, gated area. So, you have 7 foot walls on all around you. The actual 2-story building is to the south of you, but it's open to the sky. Yeah, exactly. That's what it is. It's like a little walled in backyard area. Although there's various types of junk and stuff in this area. It's not like a prim little garden or anything like that. Okay, so Barney is continuing to keep the light muted as he pockets the pistol. Okay, very good. That is the shed. Looks like some sort of a wooden shed off of the back side of the building. The door's unlocked. Okay, you open it, and you smell a rancid smell. Of refuse and human bodily waste. I'm assuming that you guys are keeping your conversations into a hushed whisper and not like a, oh, gross, close it now. Okay, the back door, that is a window. There, the door is in the middle. It is locked. Okay, very good, Barney. You're closing all of the doors that you pass through, including the outhouse door, I assume. Okay, so we have a couple alternatives here if you're wishing to try to push this. So, you could take more time, in which case you have the chance of being discovered. Or perhaps you make a bunch of noise in the process, or you mar the lock, or you break your lockpicks. Um, you jam the lock to where it's no longer functions. There's various different things that could potentially happen here. And so tell me a little bit about how you're going to push this, and that'll help me to narrow down what the consequences would be of a failure. Okay. And so it's likely that perhaps maybe someone comes back home and um, and so she is just taking her sweet old time getting it done, maybe loses track of time in the process because she feels kind of nice, safe, and secure in the backyard. Okay, go ahead and give me a push. Okay, that is tick worthy. Oh, actually, I don't think you can tick a push, can you? Okay. Alright, so the door opens, or it clicks, I should say, and it appears to have unlocked. I know you don't get to tick it if you spend luck on your success. I'm pretty sure that you can't do that, but I don't know. Okay, so I'm gonna reveal the room now. Now at this point you are entering into the building. And so As the door swings open, you see that it opens up into the interior of the building and to what appears to be some sort of an office. There's stuff stacked up along the walls, bags and boxes and various different types of things. And there's a big table. Oh, actually, wait a minute. It's not the office. It's the hall. There's a big table in kind of the middle of the room ahead of you that has various different things on it. And there's a door on each side of the hallway. And then as Barney shines his light, or Barney, are you actually shining your light fully into the room and looking all around? No, it doesn't look like food on the table. It looks like stuff from the shop. You can see what looks like maybe doors further into the room, but imminently on either side of you to the east and the west, there are definitely two doorways. Okay, Irene is going to open up the door. Which is not locked. And you close the door behind you, Barney. Okay, I want both of you to give me a stealth roll as you sneak through someone else's property. Potentially, but it's just going to be a straight up roll. It might be harder for someone to detect you due to the darkness. Okay. Although that would just be for vision, not for sound. But both of you do spend your luck, and so you feel like you're keeping relatively quiet as you rummage around the shop, opening doors and taking a look at stuff. And so this room that you just entered into looks to be some sort of a kitchen. There's a stove in here, there's a sink, there's a little table, there's a fireplace. You're picking up a myriad of pleasant smells as you enter into the building and as you meander around, kind of checking things out. You definitely are picking up the scent of various types of spices and aromas and things of that nature. You open up the other door that's across the hall and appears to open up into some sort of a storeroom. As you enter into the main section of the hall, you see that it kind of makes a little bit of a bend, and there's all kinds of, supplies and sacks and all kinds of stuff kind of piled up against the wall, and you see that there's another door. Barney doesn't really notice anything that looks out of place or unusual. It looks like a standard shop. There's okay. Irene opens the next door. And it reveals what looks to be some sort of an office. You see an office desk with papers on it. You do a quick assessment of the time, and you figure that you've probably been um, scoping this place out and kind of doing your burglary activities for roughly about an hour. Well, you have fiddled. We're talking about from the time that you started looking at this place. You got here, you left the Blue Pyramid, you got here, you started scoping the place out, the resident left, and you went in. How long since she left? Probably about 30 minutes. Alright, that door. All arrows point upstairs. So, from what I'm seeing on this, so there is a there's a stairwell that you pass to get to the door that goes upstairs. And then the door that you open up, it goes downstairs. Looks like perhaps maybe some sort of a cellar or something. So which way are you heading? Are you going downstairs or upstairs? Alright, so you close the door to the cellar. Alright. And you open up the door on the south side of the room. Barney, what are you doing? Are you kind of hanging in close behind her? Okay, she opens up the door and you kind of, shine your light inside a little bit so that she can see. And Irene, you can also see some lights coming in through some windows. A combination of Barney's light and the light coming in from the windows. You see that this appears to be the main store of the spice shop. You see jars, dried spices hanging from pegs on the wall. Right. I aware that you're not shining the light through the windows or anything like that. But you did need a little bit of light shine into the room so you could see what's in here. So, anyway, so you make out the general idea that this is the store, the main spice shop. Especially whenever you open up the door, you really, I mean, you smelt a little bit of the pleasant aroma and spices before, but now it just really hits you, whenever you open up this door, that there's, just a plethora of spices in this southern room. Okay, you head upstairs. You come to a landing, and it kind of switches back on itself. I thought you guys were going upstairs. Nope. I moved you over to the other side of the map for the upstairs. That goes up to a landing, and then it circles around and proceeds on up to the upstairs of the apartment. The other one, that's the stairs going down, and there's a wall that separates them. Okay, you're going to try to move relatively quickly as you proceed through the rest of the place. Okay, as you enter into the upstairs of the dwelling, you come out onto what looks to be like a central foyer hallway type area, and there's multiple doors that open up into other rooms. You do see a window on each end of the hallway, to the south and to the north. It is dark up here. All the lights are off. So minus the little tiny bit of light that's coming in through the window and Barney's flashlight, there's not much light to go by in here. Okay, you open the door, and it appears to open up into a lounge. There's a couch, there's a roll-top desk, there's some chairs, there's a coffee table, there's various different adornments. All of the living areas up here seem to be well appointed with fine wallpaper and luxurious finishings, including new-looking couches, plush pillows, incense burners, expensive-looking rugs, and hanging lamps, all in muted shades of yellow and blue. Okay, you open up that door and it heads back out into the hallway. There's a sizable oil heater that seems to keep the lounge warm. In fact, it is very warm. Remember, it is winter, so it's cold outside. And let's see. So with your spot hidden roll, you notice that in a prim glass case, there's some statuettes of Egyptian gods. Osiris. Oh, wait a minute. Actually, you might not know those offhand. Some Egyptian-looking gods. You also notice that prominently and piously displayed on a table is an open copy of the Quran. An ornate mirror in a gilt frame dominates the room. The frame is subtly asymmetric, and there seems to be some sort of a scroll work or some sort of carvings have been worked into the frame. So all Barney knows is that these are some sort of Egyptian gods, but he's not really brushed up on his Egyptian deities or mythology, and can't really identify exactly which Egyptian gods they might be. Is there, so that's what your success gives you. Is there anything that you're wanting to look at particularly close using that roll from the uh, basic descriptions that I gave you of what you initially see? And not that you can tell. They seem to be ornamental. It doesn't really look like they've been moved around, except for maybe in the process of dusting or cleaning. Are you going to move them? Okay, Irene moves on out of the room as Barney is kind of lingering and kind of checking things out for a bit. And so this does take Barney some time to kind of look things over. Tabris, we lost you out of Fantasy Grounds. Oh, it looks like we lost him in chat too. Oh, okay. I must have missed that. Okay, I see it there as I scroll up. It's not open. It's closed. It's sitting out on the coffee table. You could thumb through it to see if there's any pages that are bookmarked or anything like that. Okay, so you're going to open up the book and flip through it. Okay, we'll come back to that here in just a moment. So, Irene, you've left the room and you've left Barney behind to kind of, you know, peek around and look at stuff. And so it's now dark because you no longer have Barney's flashlight illuminating things for you. And so you are going to be at 1 penalty dice for any kind of attempts due to the dim lighting. Your eyes have adjusted to the darkness, and there's some ambient light coming in through the windows. So it's just a single penalty die. Okay, you open up the door, and this enters into what looks like to be a bedroom. You see a large canopied bed on the south side of the room. There's a chair with a round coffee table, a very nice ornamental Egyptian type of rug in the middle of the floor. And there's a hutch used for keeping things in. There's no other doors. Just a window. While Barney still lingers in the other room, and Irene is making a quick, cursory inspection of the apartment, she heads to another door and she peeks inside. This room, as you creak open the door and look inside, is completely dark. There's no windows in this room at all. And there's not really that much ambient light coming from the little small windows at each end of the hallway, enough to illuminate anything inside the room. So it is very dark in here, and you can't really see anything except for just very, very vague shadows. Okay, we're going to leave you there for a moment since you're pausing. Okay, Barney, you look into the book. And you do not read any kind of Arabic or anything like that, correct? Okay, so you kind of thumb through the book a little bit. You can see that it's used, but not really well used. Um, it doesn't look like it's something that is thoroughly read, cover to cover over and over again, or anything like that. But um, you know, the pages have been uh, shuffled and moved around a little bit, indicating that someone has read it. It is not dusty. Everything in the room is pristine. I mean, there's no dust on anything. It looks like the housekeeper, the resident here is very tidy person and keeps everything dusted and cleaned and everything else. And you cannot really tell any kind of time frame. Your skills of perception are not acute enough to really know how recently it's been read, other than the fact that it has been used. And there's no hidden notes or scribbled passages or anything like that in it that you see upon just kind of thumbing through it really quickly. It is printed. Anything else that you're wishing to inspect in this room? Okay, give me a applicable roll. Whatever you think is fitting here. To make sure that you put things back the way that you found them so that it does not trigger anyone's awareness that someone has been in here. I'm thinking of like an idea roll. Just kind of like a memory of, hey, this is where I found it. I'm going to put it back in the same place. Okay, you gonna leave that at regular, or are you gonna make it hard for anyone to detect that someone has been here? Okay. Yes, you see Irene moving from a room there in the hallway down to another. You're shining your light on the floor, moving down the hallway, and Irene is glad to finally have a little bit of light after you've been fooling around. You open up this room, and it appears to be a bathroom. And you open up this last room, and it appears to be a storeroom. There seems to be some boxes and, various odds and ends stored in this room. There is a window in the northern wall with some ambient light coming through it. Dimly illuminating the room along with Barney's flashlight. I know they're not like wooden crates, they're like cardboard boxes. They seem to be taped shut, so you would have to cut them open. You notice that there's some shipping labels on them. Seems to come from Egypt. Yep, to address to Zahra Shafiq. They seem to be sent from an individual by the name of Omar Al-Shakti. There's a couple that come from him, and then there's some others from a couple other places. Um, but his name shows up on a few of the boxes, so that makes a particular note in your mind. Some of the others do come from various other shipping companies. No others are duplicates, though. They're all just individual places. And so one of them would be Far East. I mean, Mid-Eastern Empire shipping, and another one comes from Great Sahara. It doesn't really make any kind of, I mean, there is something inside of it. Kind of moderate weight. The boxes, maybe about a foot and a half by a foot and a half. It probably weighs about 10 pounds or so. They're taped shut, or have some sort of a glue or adhesive or something or other that's keeping them closed. Yes, they do. Let me pull that up here. Comes from Egypt. Specifically Cairo. Um, see if I can find the address of his shop here. Anyway, there is an address. Don't want to waste game time, but you can just say Omar Al Shakti's address, shop address, and it's in Cairo. You make a quick assessment of the time, and you guess that the occupant of the apartment has been gone for roughly about an hour, as you guys have spent about half an hour searching the various rooms and looking around, looking over the boxes, checking out the stuff in the lounge, and everything else. As you've been creeping around the upstairs of the apartment. You doubt that you're going to be able to take the tape off without leaving any kind of signs that it has been tampered with. Either the cardboard is going to tear and rip, or it's just not going to stick back again. In your experience trying to open things of this nature, usually leave signs unless you have the appropriate supplies to repair them back to their original shape, which you do not have with you. You don't have any kind of glue or paste or shipping tape or anything like that. There was only one bedroom, and Barney didn't check it out. Only Irene did. Barney hung out in the lounge while Irene was checking the bedroom and then that completely dark room that she couldn't see. You head back to the middle room, and Barney shines his flashlight in, and it does look like it is another bedroom. Looks like perhaps maybe this was a guest bedroom of some sort, because this bed does not seem to be used. It's neatly made, and the room is clean and everything else, but um, the bed looks to be unused. Alright, are you going back to revisit any of the other rooms and spend additional time here? Or are you going to try to keep your presence as fast as possible? Alright, so you guys are going to linger for a while, and you're going to do a closer inspection of the bedroom and the lounge. Okay, we are going to stop there, and Barney's going to the bedroom to go check out the bedroom, right? Irene is checking out the lounge. Oh, true. There is a little bit of ambient light. She could switch. There's lamps in here. She could switch on the lamp if she wanted to. If you guys share the light, it's going to take you twice as long. Or you could flip on the light, be able to take care of it in half the time, but of course you would be illuminating the room with the lamp in the room. Okay, but anyway, we're going to pause there. We are going to fade scene as the two of you start a more thorough search. Yes, Barney does have night vision, so he is going to negate one penalty die. And this room does have a window, so there is a little bit of ambient light that is coming in from the streets. Okay, so Barney hands off his flashlight to Irene. She goes and checks out the lounge with a flashlight. He's using his night vision to check out the bedroom, and we're going to fade scene there. And we're going to head back to the Blue Pyramid Club. I'm going to close out that map, and I'm going to open up the Blue Pyramid. Alright, so when we left off with the Blue Pyramid, we had a man by the name of Xavier who had invited Charles to come into the club with him, and the two of them kind of hit it up a little bit. They have been sitting here talking, drinking, talking about the investigation, what they're doing here in London, shooting the bull, just kind of all kinds of chit-chat taking place, drinking some drinks. Kansas and Charles have gotten a little bit tipsy. Remind me of who was the one, was it Kansas, who was like completely drunk?
I think we're both pretty drunk, but extreme success to stop drinking. So Kansas is still digging deeper.
Right. Alonzo, on the other hand, has been behaving himself. He did take a few drinks, but
didn't he fail his last one too?
I know he did a success on his first one. He might have failed one of them.
Yeah, later on I did.
Okay, but he's not like completely. He hasn't failed as many as you guys have.
No.
He still has a little bit of his wits about him, and he was also approached by a young dancer here in the club, and she asked him to meet him um, later on in the evening. Kind of a mysterious encounter, not really quite sure exactly what was up with that. Perhaps maybe she thought he was cute and she wanted to get to know him better. Or it could have been something else. But as it stands, I believe when we left off last time, you were trying to create some sort of a distraction, or you were trying to uh, get Kansas sobered up, or something of that nature. So give me a quick recap of where we left off and what you guys were doing.
I was
We were
headed.
pretty much. Oh, go ahead, man.
No, I was just gonna say. Well, I'll make this quick. I was headed back towards the table where you guys were sitting because I was told by the club owner that Xavier was somehow involved. Something I can't remember what he said exactly, but he was something that led us to suspect Xavier.
You were saying they were saying he was the one that knew about the Black Pharaoh.
Something like that, yeah.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, so you guys were, I think you were talking to the club owner, and he was rather hush hush. He didn't really want to say very much, but he said that that Alonzo needed to talk to him if he wanted any other information. He pointed him out of the people, and when Alonzo looked over there, he saw his friends sitting at the table with this guy who was pointed out. Now, on the flip side, which Alonzo is not aware of, um, Charles and Kansas have just been chatting it up with Xavier and telling him all about this book that they found in the Penhew Foundation, talking about the Black Pharaoh, and there was you know all this interesting text that they you know were surprised to see and read up on, and so Xavier seemed to perk up a little bit, or they seemed to draw his attention whenever they started talking about this. And I mean, he was attentive before. He really wanted to know about you guys and what you were doing, and what your activities were here in London, and everything else. But he really got his attention drawn in when you mentioned this book. And so that's where we pick up. And so Alonzo is coming over to the table. Uh, Charles and Kansas are sitting there at the table chatting it up with this man. So how are you going to approach Alonzo? What's your demeanor? Your objective?
I'm gonna kind of saunter over to the table, back over to the table, trying to act casual because I have some suspicions about this guy right now.
Okay. Go ahead and give me an acting roll to see if
Second.
you can successfully uh, hide your intentions, or kind of play off your nonchalant uh, attitude.
Acting.
Or you could potentially use fast talk as well. If you're wanting to kind of come over and just kind of shoot the bull and just kind of try to make something up, you know.
Yeah, I'll just use the fast talk.
Yeah, you're much better at that, so. Alright, so you come over, you just kind of, Mr. Personality, you just come up and just start talking to the group of people. Are you giving any kind of indication that you know these guys?
Yeah, I was just gonna come up and say, "Hey, Chucky boy, tell me, see you've made a new friend here. Want to introduce me?"
Um, Alonzo walks over mid Charles giggling. He's just drunk off his ass. He's lightweight already and doesn't ever drink. So he's like, and then I told him to bring the chat.
Chuck.
Hey, Alonzo. Hey, this is Xavier. And you already know Captain Chaps over here.
Captain Chaps?
Points at Kansas.
What?
Because he has his bullwhip. And
that's right. We had aliases, didn't we? I forgot about that.
Oh yeah. I don't remember which yours was. Sorry.
So he calls you out by name.
I've been thrown under the bus so many times you'd think I was luggage.
Well, it's kind of in character anyway, seeing as how we've been drinking.
Right, exactly. I mean, you've been drinking, so it could have just very easily have slipped out, using your real name instead of your alias that you guys came up with.
Mr. Xavier, how you doing? My name's
Alonzo.
Yeah, it's Mr. Alonzo, John Alonzo. How you doing?
He's a Dexterhaven.
Oh, what?
It's great being Irene. Hey, that's in character. He's completely drunk, so in character.
All right. So he says.
And he doesn't really have a sister.
He says, John Alonzo Dexterhaven? Is that?
It's just a little joke we have. I got nothing to do. Don't listen to him. I think he's a little bit beyond the bend there. 3 sheets to the wind.
Is that the West Coast Dexterhavens that you talk about?
No, I think it was some movie we saw together. Somebody was named Dexterhaven.
Don't believe nothing this guy says, Xavier. Don't believe nothing he says. He just makes shit up all the time. He told me he had a sister and he don't.
It's just a little joke we have. Xavier, you from around these parts?
Yes. I'm a British citizen. Lived here my whole life. As much as I'd like to get out and see the world, I've not had the opportunity to do so.
Yeah, you're a British citizen. That's pretty obvious. But you're from around here? You're a London boy?
Oh, yes. No place like London to call home.
Yeah, you're a lucky man. I like London. It's the things going on
center
here.
of culture, center of society. Yeah, the whole world revolves around London.
Yeah, well, I'm not so sure about that, but
And if it doesn't, they try to conquer it.
Yes. So where do you come from, Mr. Alonzo?
well, my mother was Mongolian, and father, he came over to the. He was an explorer. He came over. He went over to China and met my mother and all herding sheep out there in the Mongolian steppes. And I just travel around a bit.
Hmm.
Chuck, why don't you go get yourself some coffee? I think you need to sober up a little bit.
Alonzo isn't
You
much
better
of
roll
a
you better roll a
Mongolian.
persuasion.
Alonzo isn't much of a Mongolian name. Where's
Oh no! It's my dad's name. It was my mom who was Mongolian.
and where's your dad from?
I'm Jersey, New Jersey. Not your island Jersey. You understand? It's New Jersey back in the States.
Ah, yes. I thought that I recognized your accent, being similar to these two Yanks here.
Oh, really? You've never traveled much, but you can recognize a regional accent in the States?
Oh, we have visitors that come here frequently.
You've met a lot of people from other places, huh?
I can tell that they come from someplace in the States. I don't know exactly where from, but definitely don't sound like an Indian or uh, someone from Saigon um, or Mongolia even.
Psych. Yeah. Um, so where else have you met people from? What other areas you met? I noticed there's a lot of
Oh, well,
Egyptian types around here.
obviously the Middle Easterners. I mean, check out, all the Egyptians here.
Yeah, you know a lot about Egypt?
Not as much as I would like. You know, I your friend here seems to be uh, rather knowledgeable though about Egypt. He has been telling me about his various expeditions and trips that he's taken.
He's
That's
probably making some of that up.
he's he would go to movies a lot. He sees a lot of movies. He's very interested in all that what's his name? Carter just uh the mummy in the pyramids recently. Yeah, got him on this whole Egyptian kick.
I
Yes,
think it's insecurity. He tries to make things sound worse than they are. I mean, who else carries around a bullwhip?
yeah, something about the mummy's curse or something or other like that, I believe.
Yeah, exactly.
All a
A lot
bunch
of
of superstitious hogwash, if you ask me. How can how can some mummy that's thousands of years old curse people digging it up?
yeah, as if we don't have enough problems in this life, huh? Without some bandaged up old guy. Us. So you don't believe in any of that stuff yourself, huh?
Mm, I mean, you hear the stories and everything. I don't know. There might be a speckling of truth to it, but I'm sure it's just attempts at to gain fame and recognition. A bunch of exploitation.
What stories have you heard? Any stories from around here about any Egyptians tell you any stories about curses?
No, but we were just telling him about those vampires in Peru.
Uh
Actually,
get some coffee over there?
Alonzo
He
doesn't
doesn't even know
know.
about that, yeah.
Right, he doesn't know about the Peruvian
Yeah,
vampires.
I think it was the vampires was another movie we saw recently.
Oh, yeah, up close and personal.
We go to the talkies a lot.
He wasn't there, Xavier. You wouldn't know.
At this
Chuck, how about getting
point,
that coffee, Chuck?
while you guys are talking,
You go give me some coffee.
Kansas continues to look a little bit more peaked. He's starting to kind of sway in his chair a bit, and he's looking like he's about to fall over in his chair. Um, he starts to he says, "Oh, I don't think I'm feeling so good."
Maybe I should get Kansas home. Hey Xavier, by the way, I'm really sorry to break it to you, but I ain't gay. I appreciate everything you're doing here, though. I hope I didn't give you the wrong signals and all. But I'm gonna get my buddy home. You guys have a good night. Alonzo here, though. I don't know. He might be better company, though. You guys have a good night. He
No,
reaches out to shake his hand.
I'm sorry you got that you know wrong impression. I was not coming on to you at all, but you seemed like you were interested in getting into the club, so I was just being friendly.
Oh, it's okay. I'm not gonna. You're not gonna hurt my feelings either way. It's okay. You guys have a good night, okay? Thanks again for the drinks and the hospitality. Come on, Buckaroo. And he picks up Kansas and starts walking him out.
Gonna be okay.
Okay, give me an endurance roll
You've had worse stains at your house, Barney, than that.
with a negative penalty dice.
Who are you talking to? Kansas?
I'm talking, well, Kansas isn't here, but yeah, I'm talking to you, and then I'm also going to roll for Kansas as well. Although Kansas gets 2 penalty dice because he is 3 sheets to the wind.
All right, so con with a penalty.
Yes, a con with a penalty for you.
Well, at least I puke before I get to your house.
All right, and now we're going to roll for Kansas here. There we go. Okay. 2 penalty dice. And Constitution.
Us
Oh,
Americans are making a great impression.
yeah, Kansas, he fails big time here. So as you try to pull Kansas up out of his seat, his legs just buckle underneath him, and he falls to the ground. He he's laughing, uh, he's drunk as a skunk, yeah, and as he falls, you're not really too steady on your legs either, and he kind of almost pulls you down on top of him as you're trying to hold on to him. Whenever he falls down, you kind of get a little bit tipsy and you almost lose your balance, and um, you're not feeling quite so good either. Whenever you stand up, you're feeling a little bit nauseous, and you kind of feel the need, like you need to head to the restroom. You definitely need to head to the restroom whenever in the middle of kind of giggling after falling on the ground, Kansas kind of leans over and he pukes all over the floor. And, with the sight and the smell of the vomit, it just puts you over the edge. You can manage to hang on to it for just a moment if you want to try and rush to the bathroom, or
Yeah, I do. I'm gonna try to say what little dignity I don't have.
okay. So you rush off to the bathroom. Leaving Kansas and Alonzo here with Xavier. Xavier says, "I'm
Hold on,
sorry.
G.
I'm sorry, Mr.
I'm gonna say
Alonzo.
I. Go ahead.
I'm sorry, Mr. Alonzo. It seems as if your friends have had a little bit too much to drink."
Yeah, I'm really sorry about that. This is not an isolated incident, I'm afraid.
And no worries, no worries. We'll make sure that your friends are cleaned up. this is an upstanding club. We wouldn't want for, your reputations to be tarnished. Pukes in his hat. Oh, Kansas is gonna love that whenever he comes back. All right, so you're rushing off to the bathroom. You were gonna say something as you were leaving the table. Go ahead and do that, Charles.
That's it. I was gonna say he's trying to hold it back and sees the only thing that he can puke into, which is the hat. So he's rushing to the bathroom and doesn't quite make it.
Okay.
Spews into it, so he's gonna go in the bathroom and try to scrub it out as best as he can and blame it on Kansas because he won't remember.
So, Xavier, he kind of raises his hand and he waves a little bit and makes a gesture and he motions over to his table and there's a server who comes over to his table and he says, "Excuse me, my good sir, one of my guests here has had a little bit much to drink. Could you please make sure that he gets cleaned up?" And the serving man he's like, uh, "As you wish, sir. Will uh, is your friend all right? Does he need medical attention?"
Oh, no, I'm sure he'll be fine. It just, he probably just needs a cloth to wipe off his chin. But I think they're gonna be fine. If we could just get the floor cleaned up here, I think everything will be fine, and we'll just let them go. And I'd like to say that they'll learn a lesson from this, but I'm afraid it's not gonna happen. We've got the prohibition going on in the States, and coming to London, they're just got a little bit overexcited, and I have a feeling it's going to happen again. They'll be fine. They're
Okay.
big boys.
Okay. Yes. We can get your friend cleaned up. I'll help make sure that he's taken care of. He motions, and there's another serving man who comes over, and the two of them they help Kansas to his feet, and they lead him off to the washroom so that he can get cleaned up. And Alonzo is standing here at the table with Xavier now at this point.
Excuse me, Mr. Xavier. I'm just gonna follow them a little bit just to make sure he gets to the washroom okay.
Oh, I'm sure that he's fine. They'll take care of him. Why don't you have a seat and we can talk about your travels and the places you've been. I'm most interested.
In just a minute, I promised his sister that I'd look after him while we were over here in London. So I just
Oh, he has
just want to go out the door and
he-
see everything that he's okay.
he has a sister. He told me he was an only child.
He forgets sometimes. He gets caught up in like I said, we go to the talkies a lot. He sees the stories on the screen, and especially when he starts drinking, he mixes up his life with what he sees on the screen. I think we saw David Copperfield the other day, and I think he was starting to think he was David Copperfield.
David Copperfield. Who is David? Who is this David Copperfield?
Wait a minute, you're a British citizen? You've never heard of David Copperfield?
No, that name does not sound familiar to me.
The Charles Dickens book, David Copperfield, about the orphan who grows up.
Okay. I'm not much of a Dickens fan. I really don't care for his books very much.
You might want to look into them sometime.
Little crippled kids and people who don't appreciate the holidays. That's just not quite my thing.
Oh well, teach his own. But let me follow them out. I just want to make sure everything's going to be okay, and that he hasn't hurt himself falling down the stairs or something. Okay, and I promise I'll be right back.
Yes. Well, you go on and make sure your friends are fine. He has managed detain you long enough that you have lost sight of your friends. They've left the room, and you're not really quite sure exactly where they went. So, are you going to try to race after them? Or are you going to just kind of move casually and search, or um, how are you
I'm
going
gonna
to?
I'm gonna walk. I'm not gonna run, but I'm gonna walk quickly over to the bar and ask the bartender which way they went and which way is the men's room.
Okay.
Good sir, barkeep.
Yes.
Which way is the men's room? Did you see my friends come by here with some of the waiters?
Oh yes,
They
yes.
were a little bit worse for wear.
I believe that one of them needed some cleaning up. He was rather
Yes.
tarnished.
To check on him.
Yes, the restrooms are that way. And he kind of
Okay.
points off down the hall.
Okay, I'm just gonna take a quick peek down there and see if they're still there. Thank you, my good sir.
Yes, yes, you're welcome.
And send another drink over to that table, that gentleman over there at that table.
Well, will do. And whose tab should I put this on?
Put that on my tab, my good man.
And your name, sir?
Don Alonzo.
He makes note of it, and you have your membership card. You slip him your membership card, and he jots down the account to charge the drink under. And anyway, so you go off towards the bathroom.
Do I see them there?
Yes, they bought membership cards. Actually, only one of them bought member cards. Don't remember who it was. I think it was.
I think it was me.
Yeah, I think it was you who actually bought a member card. He was able to bring a guest with him, which was Kansas, and then Charles managed to come into the club with Xavier as Xavier's guest. Okay, you race into the bathroom, and you do not see Kansas, but you do see Charles.
Fuck. Where's Kansas?
Charles is puking into the toilet.
Just take
Nice sound effects.
a quick break there, Chuck, and tell
I've been
me
there before.
Kansas. Jesus.
You finally get your stomach cleared, and you start feeling a little bit better once you get everything out of your system. Still a little bit, reeling. Your head is still spinning a bit, but at least the explosive nausea is gone at this point. You raise your head from the toilet with a string of vomit, dripping off of your chin. you turn to Alonzo as he's standing there, kind of shouting something at you. It's really hurting your head.
Well, this is not my proudest moment. Let's just say that. Can you do me a favor and just tell Kansas that he puked in his own hat?
I am not going to let you forget this, Chuck. Don't worry. Where the hell is Kansas? You?
No, he was on the floor. I got his hat though.
Holy shit. Okay, I'm going going to go out in the hallway and look and see if I can see any evidence of which way he went.
Okay. You go out into the hallway, and what are you looking for? I mean, what kind of evidence?
I'm looking for drag marks on the floor. I'm looking for evidence of more vomit.
Okay. You do see a trail of vomit coming from the bathroom door, and it's heading, down, into the ballroom.
I'm going to follow it.
Okay. And after following it a short distance, you get the feeling that it's the trail of vomit coming from Chuck.
Well, there are no drag marks on the floor. There's no other trail of...
Nope, you look into the ballroom, and you look around. You know that there were 2 serving staff that were the last ones to help to help Kansas to the bathroom, and you can do a quick survey of the room, see if you can spot these serving staff, see if they're out here or not. You could ask around, you could ask questions. Uh, you only just.
I want to run down the hallway here to this door that's by the table that we passed.
Mm-hmm.
There's a door there on the north wall.
Mm-hmm. And so you go into that room, and that's actually kind of where the bathrooms were at. Let me get my revealer here. So it opens up into kind of like a lounge, dining kind of an area. And then, off to the side of this, lounge dining area is where the bathrooms were at. It's more of kind of like a tea room, so to say. There's hot water pots, and there's tea and or teacups and all those kinds of things in this room.
Is there anybody in there?
Oh yeah, there's some people sitting in here having tea. This is Britain, man. Who wouldn't be sitting around having tea?
Okay, I'm gonna run back into the ballroom at this point. I've given up pretense of being calm, and I'm gonna search out Abdul. I think that was his name.
You're talking about the owner?
Yeah, the owner.
Okay. The owner of the establishment was...
Abdul Nawisha.
Let me look at his name here real quick.
Abdul Nawisha?
Pyramid Club. Abdul Nawisha, that is correct. Okay, give me a spot hidden roll to try and pick him out of the crowd and try and find his fez. Okay, nice. So you kind of do a quick survey of the room, and there he is. You can see him. You spot the fez.
Run over to him.
Okay, you run over.
Abdul.
Ah,
my friend was taken out of here by a couple of your goons. I don't know what they are. Now he's missing. Where would they have taken him?
My goons, sir? I'm sorry. I misunderstand. What?
There were 2 guys here. Drunk. They took him out. The gentleman that looked like a cowboy. He had a whip on him. They took him out. They said they were taking him to the men's room. He's not in there. Where would they have taken him? I'm not kidding around.
I do not know, sir. I can ask my people. I can see if they can help you find your friend. Maybe he wandered outside.
You're coming with me. We're gonna go look for him around this building.
I have a business to run.
I have a friend to find, and you're gonna help me right now. I'm gonna pull out a knife and kind of surreptitiously stick it into his abdomen.
Oh, we're gonna start with some assault.
Not
Alonzo,
actually stabbing him, but letting him
right.
know that I have it.
You should be
Alonzo.
like, I know kung fu.
Alonzo's threatening with a weapon here. All right, so we have some assault, some intention for bodily harm here. So, all right. He's like, sir, there's no reason for such hostilities. I
No, there
swear.
isn't, because you're gonna help me find my friend right now.
Are you sure that you've not had too much to drink?
I have not had too much to drink. My friend is missing. He went out with 2 employees of this establishment. You are gonna help me find him right now.
Yes. Please, no need for such aggression.
Let's go. Come on.
Okay, so
Show me every room around
so
here.
you're
Where
going
they might have taken him.
to basically lead him out by knife point with it kind of stuck in his belly, his kidneys or whatever.
I'm gonna take him by the elbow and just kind of keep the pressure on his side.
Okay, give me a sleight of hand roll.
Sleight of hand.
Yeah, see if you can keep this knife hidden.
Oh no.
Okay, you're not doing a very good job of keeping. I mean, you're like kind of grabbing a hold of him. And you have the knife in your other hand, and you have it kind of pressed up to his side, and you're not very adept at doing this kind of thing subtly. Not anything like Irene would be, and um, and so you do notice some people. I mean, no one is really doing anything, but you definitely notice people noticing you. And so you're like getting some looks, and some people are pointing at you as you're like leading the club owner out of the main ballroom by knife point.
First up, we're going to the bar.
Okay, so you're going to the bar first.
Barkeep, those 2 guys who took my friend out of here. Tell
Which
Abdul here who they were.
which 2 guys?
You said you saw them take him out to the men's room.
Oh, your friend who was throwing up.
Yes, the man with the whip, not the guy, not the other guy.
Oh, I thought you were talking about the one puking into the hat.
You know what I'm talking about. Not the guy puking in the hat, the guy with the whip. He was practically passed out. 2 of your friends took him out of here. Where did they take him?
They were not my friends. I have never seen them.
Do they work here?
Not that I'm aware of.
Cool, tell them to tell the truth. Cool.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Well, what do you want?
Tell this guy to tell the truth about these 2 guys that took my friend out of here.
You heard the man. Tell him what you know. It's like, all right then. There's some people who hang out here sometimes, but I don't know who they are.
I help you are. Come on, we're going back to Mr. Xavier's table over here. Come on, Abdul. Frog marching back over to Xavier's table.
Xavier is gone.
is. God damn it.
He's not at this table. Okay, give me a spot hidden roll. Okay. While you are distracted looking at Xavier's table and you're like dumbfounded and like thinking, oh crap, what do I do now? You are so distracted and consumed on that you don't see the two guys coming in from the side, kind of the back and to the sides of you, as they try to tackle you and disarm you, because you're in this place with brandishing a weapon, holding their owner at knife point. So we are going to go into initiative.
Hey.
Yes, and Charles is just coming out of the bathroom with puke.
I tried to clean up.
All right, so let's see what we got here. We got Charles, Irene, Barney, Kansas, Alonzo. Who am I missing? That's it. Just five of you. Of course, the only ones who are involved in this are going to be Charles and Alonzo. So let me pull up my NPCs here real quick. London. Okay. I'm going to use this, I believe. Okay. There we go. Now we gotta make these the right size. Okay, Charles is not here. Oh, actually, Charles is here. He's coming from the bathroom. Alonzo. Okay, I'm not obviously putting everyone on the map, but this is a busy ballroom. I mean, there's tables, there's uh, dancers, there's serving staff, there's patrons. There's people all around. So this is like a crowded barroom brawl, basically. So it's not what you picture on the map as far as just being um, an empty room. There's people all around you here. So you have the owner next to you. In fact, I guess I should probably put him on the map too. Where's he at? If I can find him. I can't find him. Nowisha. Maybe I don't have any stats for him. Unfortunately, I'm sad that Kansas left, and he's not able to partake in this.
I mean, if you ever needed a bullwhip, now would be the.
In a crowded room.
Okay, anyway, we're going to say that you have Abdul, right in next to you. Okay, so going down initiative, Charles, you come into the room and you see two guys moving in on the flanks of Alonzo. He does not appear to see these guys. Actually, no. First, give me a spot hidden roll. You get a bonus die.
Do you want me to counteract the bonus with a penalty?
Yes.
Because of my state.
Yes. Actually, I forgot you do have the penalty because you are drunk. So, okay. So Charles comes into the room and he just basically sees a crowd. You don't really actually see this. So you come into the room, you see a crowd, and you're just proceeding into the room just like any other normal person. Okay, then we're going to fast forward to the server. Okay, the first server, he's going to come in and he is going to attempt to disarm Alonzo. He's going to try to pull him away, pull the knife away, and so this is not going to actually do any damage. But what it will essentially do is it will kind of grapple your arm, where your arm is kind of disabled, where you can't do anything with it unless you break the grapple. Okay, he comes in, he tries to grab a hold of your wrist, and you weren't able to defend against this because you didn't know it was coming, but he fails to get a hold of you. I mean, he's just a server, but he's doing what he can to try to help his boss out. And the next one comes in, and he tries to do the same thing. Oh, and he gets in there. He grabs a hold of your knife hand and he pulls it back, and he's holding on. Basically, a imagine it like in the movies whenever you see someone who does an arm wrap on another person's arm, and he kind of turns and he's holding your arm with the knife kind of locked into his arms and out in front of him, and he's trying to break your grip off of the knife, without you being able to flail around and cut anyone. And so now it is your turn.
Swing at him with my other fist.
Okay, which guy? The one who's grappling you?
The guy who's grappling me.
Okay, you're gonna have to let go of the shot of the owner to do that.
Yeah, I'm gonna do that. Let go of him, and I'm gonna take a swing at the other guy.
Okay. And so that would be the northern guy. The guy to the north is the one who has you grappled.
Oh yeah, we're gonna see the kung fu fist flying.
Okay. Now, because he has you grappled, he's going to have to try to kind of, pull back a little bit, but he's going to be at a penalty die because he's hanging onto your arm at the same time, in order for him to try to avoid this. So he's going to have a penalty die, and he's going to dodge. Okay. Wonder why dodge is not selecting. Ah, there we go. Oh, and he fails big time. So you clock him.
Oh, now I rolled damage dice.
Yep. Okay. And you hit server number 2 for 1 point of damage.
1.
Okay. Now we're going to come back up to the top of initiative. Charles. At this point, you can see a fight breaking out in kind of the middle of the tables. It looks like there is Alonzo, and there's a guy who's like right next to him on one side, and there's a guy who's right next to him on the other side who's kind of grabbing at his arms, and Alonzo is like throwing punches, and so it looks like all hell is breaking loose here. What do you do?
All right, a couple things. So, do I notice they're dressed like waiters, or are they not dressed like waiters?
They are dressed like waiters, yes.
All right, the lights in this place, are they like gas lamps? Are they like a switch?
They are electric lights.
All right, is the light switch anywhere near me?
But there are some candles in here as well on the tables.
All right, how would sobering up work? Could I like make a Constitution save since I puked all my guts up?
Sure. I'll give you a con check with a bonus die. Okay. Since you've kind of cleared the alcohol.
Oh, that was knowledge? That was weird.
Oh. Yeah, that was knowledge, wasn't it? And
I've got a 55 con. I think I failed it. Unless you want me to roll it again.
Yeah, go ahead and roll that again. I don't know why it rolled knowledge.
All right, I'll spend my 5 lux to succeed.
Okay. So you ended up getting exactly the same results as you did on your first roll.
Oh.
Okay, so
All right, Charles sobers up real quick. He looks over and sees if there's a light switch next to him.
There is a light switch.
All right, I'm going to flick it down and try to break it off so no one else can turn it back on.
So you're like making it completely dark in here.
Well, it has candles, but yeah, I just don't want to be allowed to witness.
Okay, so you're just going to try and make it as dark as possible by turning all the lights off.
Yep.
Okay, the way that the lights are designed in here, you get the feeling that there's probably multiple banks of switches, that this particular light switch only controls a portion of the lights in the room. You know, there's so many that they would overload, you know, a normal switch, you know, so
Sure.
This probably, you're guessing, controls, you know, the lights on this end of the room. And so you go ahead and flick it. And the lights on this, you know, this third of the room shut off. And, or we'll say this half of the room. So the lights on this half of the room, they shut off. And, you still have the candle flickers, you know, on the tables. The patrons who were around the ruckus that's, you know, starting to ensue here, you know, they start to kind of pull back a little bit. There's, you know, a bit of a murmur and a hubbub, you know, taking place, you know, from the crowd. Okay, that was a minor action. What would you like to do for the rest of your turn?
All right, I don't want to lose Kansas's hat because I figure he'd be mad, so I throw his wet hat on top of my head and it still smells like puke. I grab my knife and I charge forward and I'm going to try to hit the guy that's holding him on the head with the blunt, you know, the handle of the knife, like the pommel.
Okay.
I'm going to try to wing him.
Okay.
So he'll let go of Alonzo.
You do, being a law officer, you do realize that using a knife, even if it is using the blunt end, is a deadly weapon and could get you in trouble with the law.
That's why I turned the light off.
Okay. All right, just making sure that you're aware of that.
I can't move my icon. I'm in the ballroom.
Yeah, I bet I probably put you on the other layer like I did the others. So let me fix that. Yeah, you're on the GM layer.
I yell over, "Damn it, China man, what you get me into?"
And it's the same thing with Alonzo. So let me put you guys on the PC layer. Okay. Shrink you guys down to the proper size here.
Alright, he's gonna swing. He's trying not to like make it look like, hey, I'm stabbing someone with a knife. He's trying to make it look like he's hitting someone with a fist.
Okay.
But he's gonna go ahead.
Alright, so go ahead and give me an attack roll. Wow.
Yeah. Does hard success do anything? I forgot.
Oh, only if it's an impaling weapon, which you cold cocking him, you know, with the blunt end of the knife is not going to be impaling. However, he's probably not going to be able to dodge this. I'm going to give him a penalty die on his dodge since you kind of, well, actually, no, he's also grappling Alonzo, so he's going to get 2 penalty dice. Because you're kind of
I think I'm coming up behind him too.
Yeah, you're kind of coming in from the side, and so he just barely catches a glimpse of you, and
grappling me after I hit him.
And plus he's kind of kind of holding on to Alonzo's arm.
Sucker punch.
So even after I hit him, he's still holding on.
Oh yeah, it wasn't enough to like break his grip on you or anything. What you did was, you just kind of gave him a little, punch in the side of the head or something like that. Or maybe you punched him and did a body blow. Kind of a thing. As he's with your other arm, as he's holding on to the arm with the knife.
Okay.
Okay, now let's see. Let's get back to.
So he's gonna try to dodge.
Yeah, he's going to try
Or
to dodge with 2 penalty dice here. Yeah, and he did not do it. So you end up hitting him. You're going to deal some additional damage because you're hitting him with the blunt end of the knife. What's your normal punch is 1d3. Let's make this a 1d6. It should probably be about the equivalent of a blackjack. Let me look and see what the blackjack is. Oh, blackjack is actually 1d8. Well, we're going to keep it at 1d6. Okay, so 4 points of damage to server number 2. 1, 2, 3, 4. Alright. Alright, you co-cock him. And as he continues to try to grab onto the knife, he's just desperately trying to retain that knife, and so that his boss doesn't get shivved with it. You can notice that there's other people who are rushing in to help at this point. They're not quite here yet, but it does look like reinforcements are coming.
might be time to get out of here, Chinaman.
Okay, so the first guy who was trying to grab a hold of Alonzo and failed to do so, at this point, he's going to just punch at Alonzo. And Alonzo, you can dodge. You now know that this is taking place, but you are also being grappled. Your arm is being held, and so you're going to take a penalty die to your dodge. But it doesn't matter because this guy misses you anyway. Okay, now the guy who's grabbing onto your arm. Oh, yeah, he could potentially have done that.
I will do so.
Normally,
now I can do that?
Normally we state that beforehand, before you know what the result of the roll is. But
I didn't know I had a reaction.
Yeah, I didn't really give you time to respond to that, though. So go ahead and attack back if you want. Okay, so you go ahead and as he comes in and tries to take a swing at you, you come up, with your fist and fight back, and you land your fist on him.
Is he gonna dodge?
No, he can't. This is a
Okay.
this is a counterattack. So he was attacking you, and you fought back. So so you deal 3 damage to number 1. Okay. Now number 2 is up, and He is going to try to knock the knife out of your hand. And so I'm going to make this an opposed strength check as he tries to get the knife out of your hand, unless you want to do something else other than resist him taking the knife out of your hand.
Be possible for me to drop the knife and get out of his grasp and run?
Oh yeah. If you want to just drop the knife and automatically choose to fail, then you can use your strength check instead to break the grapple.
That's what I want to do.
Okay. All right. So it's going to be an opposed strength check then, as he tries to retain your arm and disarm you, and you're going to try and break free from him. So, oops, wait a minute. That's your strength. I didn't mean to do that. I need to roll his strength. Here we go. Okay, so he succeeds, you fail, and so he manages to, you do drop the knife, and you're trying to pull away from him, but he manages to hang on to your arm. However, it is now your turn, and you can actively try to break free again. You know, or you can punch him, or some other action. Now that it's your turn.
At this point, I just want to break free.
Okay.
So is that just another strength?
If you want to try and break free, we'll make another opposed strength roll.
Jesus.
I have a feeling this was a bad idea.
Alright, he fails also, but it's a double failure, so no one really, there's no change in the situation there. You're maintaining the status quo. Alright, Charles. You can see that Alonzo is trying to break free from this guy who, this big, burly, looking kind of waiter that has a hold of his arm. Alonzo has dropped his knife. He's struggling to try to pull his knife free, but this guy just has a death grip on him. What are you going to do?
I'm gonna slide my knife up under his legs, and I'm gonna say, "Let the Chinaman go."
Like up in the crack of his,
Yeah, like I'm gonna reach up under him. I'm gonna say, "Just let the Chinaman go."
Up in his junk? Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. Alright. Not like actually stabbing or anything, but just making...
No, I want him to know it's there.
The sliding motion. Okay. So go ahead and give me an intimidation roll, and you get 2 bonus dice.
I guess that'll do it.
Oh.
He jumps. He's like, whoa, man! Oh, back off! He completely lets loose of Alonzo, and
That's so funny.
he's like, no need for that. Just
we're gonna leave now. No more trouble needed. Chinaman, go.
And the two of you scoot boot, and you get out of here.
Actually, I was gonna run. I wanted to run over to this door and check it. I'm guessing, is that a door there?
Which door?
No, that's not a door, is it?
No, that's a fireplace.
Okay.
He's like, my hands are cold. I just want to come warm them up.
Then I am gonna run out.
Do you pick your knife up?
Yeah, actually I would, because that's the knife my dad gave me.
Okay.
I like that you're moving your little figure back. Like, you have to do that. right, I'm gonna put the knife up and back away, but I'm gonna put it up like I don't want everybody to see it. I'm gonna get the hell out of there, and I'm gonna tip my hat on the way out. I'm gonna say, "Good day, y'all," and I'm gonna haul out.
Say it's Kansas if anyone wants to know.
Yeah, you ran out. I'm like, that was the dumbest shit we've ever fucking done, and I've done some dumb shit.
Yeah, but Kansas, where the hell is he?
And that is the mystery.
I don't know.
All right, this is a good point to leave off. It is 11:43. It is ending time, and so you guys, you run out of the Blue Pyramid, panting, your head's just swirling because you're recovering from all the alcohol that you've had, but you've had just a flash moment of adrenaline that has just sobered you up real quick. But you kind of got this headache, and your head is just kind of swimming a little bit, and you're panting, and you're like, man, can you believe what just happened? And it all just kind of seems like some bad nightmare. All right, and so you guys are out on the street outside the Blue Pyramid. We'll leave off there. We'll resume next time with Kansas, and we'll find out what happened to Kansas.
Ah, Kansas, I failed you. Hey, good night, everybody.
All right. Hopefully
Thanks for the
everyone
game.
had a decent time. You had a little bit of everyone had a little bit of spotlight time.
Oh,
And
get to bed now, though.
We'll see you all next week. All right, gonna sign off and take care.